Alright guys, welcome back to another week. We're gonna take another look at the hive. I have some exciting news. We had the bee inspector come look at our hive, and she gave us some tips that I think would be great for the hive and for anyone to know from an authority on beekeeping, so that they know for sure whether or not they're doing things the right way. I'm going to replace this feeder jar with a clean one. Not that I'm going to refill it or anything, but I like to keep that gap as small as it is. But that one still has remaining sugar from the last time we filled it. Alright, see how the bees are today. We actually just had a heavy downpour, and tomorrow we're expecting rain too, so I don't have much choice but to work on them today. So, see if the bees are going to be nice and friendly for us today. I noticed in the last video when I had my transceiver in my pocket, my transmitter in my pocket for the radio that I'm using to hook up to my microphone, that when I'd bend over, I guess I'd squish the transmitter and it would not transmit what I was saying. So this time I have it on my belt. One thing I noticed for you guys, in case you hear some interference, if I accidentally touch the antenna, it'll give a little interference. So sorry if you hear some crazy noise. Oh man, there's a lot of dead beetles on the bottom of that, and they've eaten it completely dry. I could even pick this thing up and try to show you guys on camera. I'm just kind of guessing where it is. It's probably not a great view, but this thing's completely empty. Alright, thanks. And while I get into the honey super, Dan's volunteered to rinse out the feeder to help things go more expeditiously. We're getting a lot more comb development and a little bit more populated with the bees when it comes to the honey super. I'm just going to show you one of the frames. That has honey on it on the outside, and one that has probably the most honey on it on the inside, so you guys can see about what their progress looks like. Oop, that bee looked like she was maybe thinking about stinging me. Alright, so here it is. They're starting to cap off a lot of it, and actually for one of the more outer combs, this one's actually getting filled in pretty good. I'm just kind of guessing where this is in the frame, so if it doesn't look great. Okay, so Dan spotted that a lot of bigger ants got in. The ants were the reason why I put in the screen on the top, but that lets me know that that screen maybe needs adjusted or something. Alright, so I'm just going to show you one of the, oh man, maybe if you show them down here, right a little lower here, because I think that's a better focal point. There's all these dead carpenter ants that Dan found. Interesting is, like I was saying, whenever I put in this mesh on the top of the feeder here, and on their entrance hole, actually just got bent down, so that might be part of the problem. This mesh got bent down. I might have to just fix that. But I put some screen here, and for a while there it really did seem to help with keeping the ants out. Plus those ant guards down here. One thing that we do on those ant guards is we put petroleum jelly around the outer side, the lips. I don't know how well that works, but I saw a beekeeper suggesting that on YouTube and thought, you know, it's the least I could do for them, and if it works, it works. If not, then at least I tried. So they're getting more populated up in the super. If you guys are familiar with the 80% rule, that 80% is regarding not how much honeycomb they have, but how well manned. Ooh, this one's kind of heavy. I like the way that feels. There's a lot more capped honey there. This is one of the, maybe the biggest comb that they have. Dan, you want to feel how heavy this thing is? Wow. So I have a lot of weight for a single frame, huh? Alright, so I'm just going to put this thing back, and that's about all we're looking at for the honey super. I didn't have to pull those things out and do that, but just so you guys can see that, what the progress is. I showed you one of the weakest frames that still has honey on it, and one of the stronger ones, or what I think is the strongest as far as honey goes, how much honey they have. So it looks like this one has half of it. Half of it has comb on it, and the other side they barely have a layer of wax building there. And then we have two frames that they're starting on it. You can tell they're starting on it, but they're not doing anything as far as filling it with nectar. They don't really even have the hexagons in place, the cells. Alright, so I'm going to take off the honey super, and we're going to see how the bees are doing in the brood box. Just going to, I guess I get the smoker ready for when I crack this thing open here. And after that heavy rain that we just had, you can hear more of a crisp crack with the propolis that we're breaking open. We're going to see how heavy this thing is now that a lot of their frames are full of honey. Oof. If you want to try that, it's pretty heavy for what it is. I'll put it deep back there so that we can lean a frame up on it. But yeah, pretty heavy for maybe only 60% of the frames even have any comb on it at all. Okay, so I already see one of the interesting things that the inspector pointed out to Dan. I wasn't actually here for the inspection, I was at work. But you see, and this is a really good thing to see. Normally I don't really consider my channel to be very educational because I'm no expert, but see where the beetle traps are? They're on the outer side. And the reason for that is because the beetles will get pushed out toward the outside by the honeybees. Now, I heard about that before. I've seen like maybe one video on it. But then whenever I went to some training regarding beekeeping and seeing a lot of the way other people do it, I actually usually see them put the beetle traps about where you would put the apivar strips. And since that was the thing I was seeing most often, that was what I decided to do myself for a while. But thanks to, what was her name, Deneen? She pointed out that putting them toward the outside should be more effective, simply because that's kind of the nature of how it works and the way the beetles will run toward the outside. So I'm glad she pointed that out. And we're going to see how this goes. Oop. And there's actually a lot of hive beetles here, so I don't think those Amazon nematodes did anything. I'm going to try to get this closer in frame.
Well, it's been 10 days or so, right?
Oh yeah, also it's been, yeah, about 10 days, Dan points out, because we had the hive inspection after our inspection, and we wanted to leave them alone a little longer because we didn't want to disturb them too much.
2 weeks now, actually.
Let's see, it was Thursday. Yeah, this will be 2 weeks then, because this is 2 Thursday.
Maybe it's not that much.
Yeah, so maybe it's but regardless, we are seeing hive beetles there. And according to one video I've seen on the H. indica nematodes, it takes a while for them to become effective, where you'll actually see that they've gotten rid of the hive beetles. But according to one of those videos, he actually saw no more hive beetles after he started applying the H. indica. I believe it's pronounced Heterorhabditis indica to be specific, but you know, if you know H. indica, that's all you have to know to order those things. Ooh, look at that.
Yeah.
We have a lot of hive beetles caught, so if nothing else we've learned from this demonstration, yeah, that if you put them toward the outside, that really does seem to be much more effective, and hopefully the bees are doing a little better because of it. So yeah, if there's anything that was worth learning in this video so far, is that what the hive inspector pointed out to us. Regarding putting the beetle traps toward the outside, almost to the complete extreme outside. Okay, so now we're going to play a little game called Try to Find the Queen and Also Not Kill Her. I see a bee with pollen on her legs running around. Okay, so don't see the queen. I'm going to try to see if we can get a look where maybe I can find the stick eggs, and that will at least prove that we have a queen that's laid eggs within a day or two. Festoons of bees. We keep finding, the last couple of times we found the queen right on these outside frames, so it makes me wonder if she's going to be around there. So I'm like, just trying to make sure we're not killing anybody. Okay. Oops. Okay, let's see if we can find the queen. It's funny because I'll breathe and then I can tell the bees when they smell my breath. They'll launch off. Well, we got some pretty strong brood around here. Those stick eggs are hard to see. Right now it's a little shadowy to be doing a bee inspection. So it's not the easiest situation to try and spot the queen. Or I mean the stick eggs. I'll just look through a couple more, and if I see any stick eggs, or hopefully we find a queen, then at least we'll know she's alive and well. She should be. First time I tried moving frames, sometimes I would snap them apart from each other, and that's really not a good thing because, for one thing, the bees don't like that heavy impact. Secondly, and most importantly actually, you don't know which bees might get killed by that impact, so it'd be a nightmare if you accidentally killed your queen by snapping your frame. Some people will just pick the frame up by the hook. I just feel more secure if I pick it up with my fingers. Well, there's a big solid wall of brood here. That's a good sign regardless. Alright, maybe I'll try one or two more. If I don't find the queen, then I guess I'll just put them back and assume that she's okay, just because of how the brood's pretty solid around there. And it's been a couple weeks, so it's not like we're checking this out like at a time frame in which we wouldn't really be expecting to find the brood. There's a bee trying to take all the propolis off my thumb. The smoke is supposed to move the bees away from you. But that bee didn't want to go anywhere because I guess my thumb tasted too sweet. Ooh. So I'm still not perfect when it comes to this, when it comes to moving the frames. But there's definitely a finesse. The more you pull the frame, the further away. Okay. All right, so one more frame. If I'm not finding it clean with that frame, I'm just gonna save it for another day just because it's getting a little dark. And we're seeing signs of broods, so I don't want to keep them open too late. Oh, there's the queen. Okay, so we found the queen. I don't know, you can see where she's at because she runs away real quick. Oh, there she is. She's on the bottom of the frame. Alright, so I'm going to put this back. Not sure, but I think I took a sting on my finger. All these bees on my hand like, for the queen! No, they're not attacking me. They're, I got into their propolis and their honey, and they're just trying to reclaim whatever resources. Maybe they're even trying to get sweat off my hands for whatever that's worth. Should I clear them out because as gentle as they are, if I don't really want to squish them. Okay. So we did find the queen there. I'm going to put that frame in that we took out, just to make sure it's not too crazy for him. I'm going to smoke him a bit. Oops. Starting to blow some sparks. Gotta use a little smoke because these guys are getting crowded around those ends. Alright, so now I'm going to put in a beetle trap. And most people will tell you to try to keep these beetle traps down flush with the frame, because otherwise beetles will hang out underneath the lip there. What I'm doing here is just making some space for the trap. Then we're gonna plant this guy in there. Oop. Squishing a bee there. Oop. There we go. I think we were able to put that one down without squishing that bee. Alright. I'm going to put down the queen excluder. I don't know why these bees are doing this. Well, and for now I'm going to put the feeder on empty. I have a tip I'm going to show about capturing beetles regarding the feeder. All right, and that's it for today's hive maintenance. Hope that you found that helpful. And stay tuned for further episodes.